Hello, art students, and welcome to our Artist of the Week. Today is Tuesday, September 1st. We are starting a new month and starting the year off. And so the way that Artists of the Week are going to work is I'm going to every week pose to you another artist or another specific piece of art with some thoughts, questions, and on there you'll respond to them within Google Classroom. And so to start us off this school year, I want to introduce you to our Artist of the Week, and this week we are going to look at the artist Emanuelle Moureaux. She is a French-born, Tokyo-based artist, architect, and designer. She was born in 1971. She is a contemporary artist, meaning that she is alive and working and producing artwork and installations as we speak. She began working in Tokyo in 1996 and was inspired by, as she said, the flow of staggering colors pervading the street that built a complex depth and density, creating three-dimensional layers in the city of Tokyo. So for those of you who are familiar with kind of like the Japanese anime, you're used to a lot of this bright color, and so that's what she's inspired and worked off of. There is Emanuelle Moureaux with one of her installation pieces. When I say installation, I mean that she works in site-specific spots. She works in areas that is filling up a room. So it's not like a painting sitting on a wall. It's an environment, really, that she's created. So she's really into this. She's developed this Japanese word called shikiri, which is dividing and creating space through colors. So she's really looking at using color as a medium or as the thing itself. And so she says, I use colors as three-dimensional elements like layers in order to create spaces, not as a finishing touch to applied to surfaces. It's a made-up word that literally means to divide space using colors. And you're going to see how this works within her stuff. The piece that I'm specifically going to talk to you guys about today is called Slices in Time by Emanuelle Moureaux, and it is all cut paper. She produced this. It went up in a gallery in London earlier this year. And so you can see, let me move my face out of the way here. You can see this piece. We've got a person standing here, and so these are all suspended from the ceiling, and there are little numbers here, and this entire mess of color is made up of individual cut pieces of paper, individual numbers there. And so Slices of Time is made up of 168,000 pieces of paper. She ranges through 100 different colors or 100 different hues. As we can see here, we've got a variety of shades of green before we move into these dark brown ones and moving into kind of the oranges, into some reds and pinks, and then into the true oranges, over into the yellows and whites. So here's another view as we look. I think it's really interesting how we've got, when you line up, you can see essentially a gap through the entire piece, where these are all hung in a very systematic type way. And speaking of that gap, here we can see into the depth of this creation and see these numbers and colors receding off in what seems like an infinitesimal amount of space. So really talking about how that inspiration of layered colors as she experienced Japanese architecture and life for the first time comes through in these works of hers. So I have a bunch of links. I'm going to paste some of these into our assignment. And I do want to show you, so on her website, you can go, if you go to Emanuellemoureaux.com, you can read it in English or Japanese. She also has some really interesting videos that you can check out through her Vimeo, Facebook, and Instagram. A lot of contemporary artists use and kind of function on Instagram. And so you can look at a variety of her stuff. Slices of Time is up at the top here. It is reopening in 2 days. So reopening on Thursday in the Now Gallery in London. But you can see that she's working with color kind of across a variety of stuffs, whether that's architecturally or doing installations. And so I really find her work visually appealing as we begin this school year off. So go through, check out her stuff as you are exploring this. One thing she says is that she is exploring this idea of space and time. The roundness of this piece represents the Earth floating. It's composed of 100 layers of numbers in 100 shades of colors with 20 layers of numbers in white. The 100 years represents the coming 100 years of our life here on this planet, 2020 to 2119. And the 20 layers in white are the 20 past years. So you can look through some more. There's a really interesting video that I'm not going to force you guys on here to watch, but I would recommend checking it out. I believe the video is down at the bottom of the page, right there. And then you can pop over to her Instagram and see interesting takes and see her work posted there. So as you look through Emanuelle Moureaux's artwork, specifically Slices in Time, I want you to be aware of what is interesting to you about this piece. I want you to be aware of how this piece makes you think and how this piece makes you feel. And then in the question section, I want you to write a little bit about how you feel and what you're thinking as you witness this piece. All right? This will be for 10 points. It'll be our first grade of this semester here. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to pop on to our open studio for the day, and we can chat about this piece a little bit there. Otherwise, keep working through that playlist, and I will see you guys Friday.